them. Welcome to another episode of the Stepping into the Light show, all the way from Australia today. So Winter says, "Hello, Summer."
Hello.
I'm gonna call you Summer with the birds behind you singing.
Actually, that's my color palette. I'm a cool summer, so we're kind of a nice combination.
Oh, look at this, right in the topic.
You
So
brought it up.
Nina, thank you so much for taking the time to
Mm,
be with us today. And so we met through Tracy Tutti,
correct.
who is in our community here at Social Media Love. And you interviewed me on your show. And I think it came out yesterday. I saw the video. I rewatched everything we did together, we talked about together. And today I want to talk to you because I'm always curious to have conversation with women entrepreneurs about their relationship with visibility, especially when you first start a business, and then as you grow the business, we will go through maybe stories that you want to share around how you learn how to become more and more visible. But first, tell us where you are talking to us from, who you serve on earth, and who you are.
Yeah, love that. Thank you. I'm Nina. I'm the executive stylist, Nina Fountain, and I'm at the moment in Australia. I'm near the beach in a town called Coffs Harbour, which is about 6.5 hours drive north of Sydney. And it's about 9 in the morning. So I think it's kind of afternoon slash evening where you are. It's nine
Yes,
in the morning, a day ahead,
yes, we are
which is usually
evening. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm really thrilled to be here. I'm visiting my mum, and I'm here for about 10 days more. Just loving that I'm in this kind of summery, gorgeous weather, and surrounded by palm trees out here and a bit of wind.
I know. Will you show us the palm trees that you just shown me?
Yes, I'm gonna have to flip the camera, or like
Okay.
flip the whole
Yeah.
phone around. Okay,
Okay, let's
so
see.
um, here we go. There's some. This is the street I'm on at the moment,
Look at those
and
palm trees. It was so
yeah,
beautiful when you showed me. Thank you
yeah.
for showing me. It just feels
You
good. We're
you
about
just
to
feel
get some
like you're on
snow.
holiday, don't you?
Yes. So Nina,
And the women I serve are women in leadership who are enhancing their executive presence. They're stepping into greater visibility. They are becoming more known publicly or in their organisation. They might be now in the executive suite, in the C-suite, or taking a much more senior role, or publishing a book or speaking. And so they know the power of style that speaks for them and speaks to who they are instantly to their audience.
so what brought you to really focus on the style? What is the story behind this?
Style is, for me, something I've always been fascinated by. The story, do you want the story of how I got into what I'm doing?
Yes.
Yeah, so, well, I realized in about 2016 that I had been doing my 10,000 hours of getting to know style and how style works without even really realizing it. And that came about because my sister and her friend asked me to give a talk on style. They were running a group of women and they wanted someone to speak to this topic. And they said to me, "You're the most stylish person we know. Do you think you could do a talk on style?" And when someone asks you with that question, it's very hard to say no. So I wanted to say yes. It was just the topic I love talking about. And then as I was preparing and thinking how to help these women and what could I say, what was going to give them cut through ideas that would work for them, that also worked for me. I had so much fun preparing it. I think I had a month and a half up my sleeve, and it was one of those things I kept coming back to and tinkering and just really enjoying it. And then they got such a boost from the session, and the smiles on their faces were evident. They you could see they just stood taller. They felt a mile high compared to where they were before, and it was the power of that information to make them feel fantastic that I wanted to do more of. And
So
at the time, yeah.
do you feel that most women entrepreneurs or leaders or the women you support, do they feel on style or out of style most of the time?
The women I support are a mix where they sometimes they feel like they've really landed it in a few outfits. That's probably I'd say that's the most common experience. They know that they've got one or two, maybe three or four pieces and outfits, garments that they feel really work for them and are beautiful. They love to wear those. They know the power of what it's like to turn up feeling great, feeling I like to be seen in this, but at the same time, it hasn't come together for the rest of their wardrobe, and they know that when they've tried, it hasn't worked. They've maybe tried shopping. They've tried shopping with a girlfriend. They've tried online. They've looked at Instagram stylists and bought what they recommend, and none of those things have really had the effect that they wanted them to have. So they know it's probably similar to getting an interior designer to do the house. If you get someone in who really knows what they're doing, in a few weeks' time, you can have that place transformed, and the difference and the lift that it brings to your life is huge. So they know that a stylist is going to be able to do that for them, and when the reason they work with me is that I come from the place of understanding who they authentically are, so that they're not trying to pretend in their style, but instead they're aligning in their style with who they are. And that is their most powerful style. It's the style they carry best. It's the style that they are most authentic in and that they bring their integrity to. And it's the style that feels easiest and has the less friction about the day. So for all those reasons, authentic style is incredibly powerful, and is the reason that they work with me as opposed to
Can
another
you
stylist.
could oh could can you hear me good? Well,
I can. Can you
yeah.
hear me okay?
Yes, it's just sometimes your voice goes with the wind.
Drops a
Um,
little. Let me
uh,
remember to hold this.
would you share like a little secret with me, like when you work with your clients, is there always that same tipping moment where they switch their shift, like they get it and you see that it's boom, it's coming? Is there, what would be that moment for you as a stylist?
It is the moment when we have often it's right towards the end when we have pulled together their looks, and they've because we've worked together for a few weeks, they've often had a few looks, and then they start to go out in the world with these looks, and that's when I'll hear stories back about how people have noticed that their skin looks fantastic, or they've noticed that they are carrying themselves differently, or they'll say to them, "Have you lost weight? Have you changed something in your hair?" And it's because people know that something's different. They've noticed that there's a really positive shift, but they don't know what it was that this person's done. And so that's when they're wanting to compliment them, but not being able to put their finger on what it is that they've done.
I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. So how long have you been doing this, Nina?
Yeah, since 2017. So that I gave that talk in 2016. I think it was September, and then a few months later, I got my certification and set up the business because I wanted to do this more. So 2017, and since then, I've served hundreds of women, including CEOs, executives, coaches, consultants, businesswomen.
So when you look back to when you were a little girl, Nina, is there any part of that little girl that shaped that that business of yours today that you can see?
100%. Yeah, I remember dressing up in my mum's clothes. I think many girls had a dress up box, or when they got a tutu for ballet, or when they um, came across something special, they just wanted to wear that all the time. And I was one of those little girls that I sometimes see at the shops who's wearing her tutu to the shops because she feels like a princess in it. And then I remember my mum had in the dress up box, excuse me, two pieces that I just loved to to throw on. One was this velvet blue, like almost like an ice blue, baby blue dress straight from the 70s. And it was a long evening dress that had a train. It was quite covered, quite covered up. So it took, it totally smothered me when I wore it. But then she had some little silver sandals, strappy sandals with a block heel, and they were 3 times too big for me. But I would put them on and walk around the house in these little strappy sandals and this gorgeous ice blue velvet, baby blue is a better color for it, velvet dress, and just feel so different. Felt like special, fun, um, gorgeous, and just to be able to embody that, it's like your imagination steps into a new place. You've kind of given yourself the opportunity to be something different for a little while. So I
Oh,
just love that. Yeah. And I think we all dress up. I think it's Kate Spade who said, "You never stop dressing up. Dressing up is style and fashion is all about dressing up. You never stop playing dress ups." And yeah, I just think there's an element to that for sure, where it's imagination, it's fun, it's playful, it's creative. At the same time, what I'm really striving for my clients is that sense of alignment, which is actually quite grounded and quite, quite affirming and empowering. It's not only the stuff of imagination and creativity. It's actually really bringing those two together, where you can embody who you feel yourself to be. Even if you can't fully see that in your life around you. If you're stepping into a senior role and you're in some way trying to convince yourself that this is who you are, um, how you dress and how you wear, how you show what you wear and how you show up is also sending a message back to you that this is who you are. This is this is what you're stepping into, and you get that opportunity to embody the transformed person that you see yourself becoming.
I love it. So, I'm sure among your clients, you serve women like me who spend their life in front of a camera.
Yes,
Like
we
you
do
see,
that so much more now.
you see that you see them like through the square of a screen or the rectangle of the screen. Like, what would be your number one advice or tip for all of the women who are watching or will be watching the replay in terms of styling yourself when you are on a screen and you
Yes.
talk to your audience?
So this is something I do take my clients through, because we're so much more online, and many of my clients, as you're saying, are online. If they're working from home sometimes, if they're serving clients, where I'd say, you know, the week is typically split between in person and online. So I do have a whole, set of content around this, and it's something I'm planning to put in more into my community next year. That we'll spend some more time focused on that. And it's hard to choose one main tip. I think the fundamental thing is that how we are in the square is quite different to how we are vertically. Like your vertical look. So here's my vertical look today. is is quite different to this look, and that does actually mean that body shape becomes a little less important, and it's more about face shape. And then there's some really important things around cleavage and skin showing, and
I'm
it's really
checking myself here. I don't have any cleavage today.
I think people are often they're reading their outfit. When you do that check in the morning in the mirror to leave the house, people aren't necessarily doing that same thing before they get onto a Zoom call or a video meeting. But it's really worth doing that. It's just doing that check to make sure things are okay, things are in place, and it's thinking this visage, this what you can see here, this little very small square is the only way you're representing yourself. So in that square, you want things to be proportionate, balanced, harmonious with your skin tone, modest, in the appropriate way to align with the culture of the people that you're working with. And I think it takes a bit of reassessment. It's actually, you've got to just think, this is all I've got here, this little square. So do the mirror check for the square, not for your whole outfit.
Yeah. Okay. So
Mm.
thank you for the one tip. So
Mm.
talking about the work you do, like it's one aspect of being visible, right? The way you
Mm.
style yourself, whether it's the way you hold yourself, you dress yourself, you present
Mm.
yourself. Um, as a business owner, like in 2016, being in the industry that you are in, what was maybe one thing that you felt that you had to learn about becoming visible, even though you were the queen of style, right? Can you share that a little bit? Like, I'm trying to figure out, what was your relationship when you started with being visible, whether it's
Mm.
online or even, in a room, right?
Yes. Yes, I was somewhat hesitant about whether I needed to be personally visible or professionally seen. So I think there was a difference between those two in my mind, where I wasn't convinced that to be successful professionally, that I needed to be visible personally. I wasn't convinced of that. I thought that my content would probably speak for itself. I thought that people would perhaps think I was grandstanding, that I was presenting myself as the personality, and that somehow would detract from me speaking to them about their challenges and about solving their problems. That I somehow thought that myself was more important than solving their problems. That's what I was thinking would be if I put myself, um, say, photographs of myself on social media. Would I do that then? I didn't at the beginning. I really focused very much on the content of styling, client stories, and the tips and things that I was sharing. I don't do that quite so much anymore, but it was all styling content. And then I think that really shifted as I got to see more. And I'd been in another business, but for only a few years before that. So I was still kind of very much learning how to do social media and how to build a relationship with people online, to build trust and to help people to know who you are. And I really didn't realize then how important it is that people see you, that they get to know you and trust you through getting glimpses and aspects and different angles on your life, and just there's this huge disconnect between us online, where we're black and white words on a page with a photograph here and there, and there's so little that actually tells someone about who you really are compared to what it's like when they actually meet you, that they are looking to build a picture of you, build a relationship with you in their mind, that really can only come from seeing you in different forms and places and times. And I understand that now, but I didn't appreciate it at the beginning.
Is there a moment in time? I call this your avocado moment because it's a reference to my TEDx talk. But
Ah.
is there a moment that it's one thing to say what you say, but like, is there a moment where you realize it? Like, do you remember if there is an instance or what happened that you shifted or you had a proof that, oh, okay, there is that layer of, communication? Like, do you remember anyone, anything, a day?
um, I don't, but I vaguely recall hearing people starting to comment about, oh, I noticed you were here or there, or, ah, you've been doing such and such. So for me, then the fact that someone commented said they've taken notice, they've remembered, they've seen me in a certain context, and they know a little bit more about my life. because I've shared something about that. And I think I vaguely remember that being significant, thinking this sharing more of myself, being more visible, helps people to, if that helps them to know a bit more about me and what I've been up to, and they remember it, then you know, that's a great building block for connection. So yeah, I think that was significant. And then also, I think another thing that's been significant has been, you know, we all follow other people in business, and seeing how more and more the people who I followed would turn up. They would consistently be visible and share photographs of themselves online. They're not hiding behind product photographs or um, yeah, or you know, a kind of AI engineered image. Now they're showing themselves, and
Yeah.
I think that's what I noticed powerfully as well. It's really time to put those two together and think
Oh, I don't hear
there's
you very much right there. I hear the
oh,
wind in the leaves.
oh
Maybe
yes.
turn yourself a little
I'll
bit.
try to.
Yeah, just a tiny
This
bit.
this
Yeah,
gust will hopefully go
yeah.
away.
Okay, okay, it's okay. Um, I want to bring you to the topic of being imperfect. And I, for a stylist, I want to hear you. How did you have to embrace being showing up imperfectly in all aspects? It doesn't mean just physically or the way you're dressed, but like, not knowing exactly what you're gonna say, or any shape or form of what it feels like to be perfect or imperfect. Like, anything you
Yes.
want to share about this?
Yeah. Do you know there's so many angles to this for me, and perhaps one of the things that's easiest to take away is there's a quote from Richard Branson that has inspired me in my business life. He says, if you don't know how to do something, someone offers you an opportunity, say yes and then figure out how to do it. And I've been inspired by that and accept some huge opportunities um, with that motivation, that you develop the confidence through actually doing the thing. People often think that they need to have the confidence first. And there's actually a writer, Dan Sullivan, who is the founder of a group called Strategic Coach. He has a book, a short book called The Four C's. And he
Hmm.
talks about how we think this, that we think that we have the confidence first. And I think we probably learned this in school, to be honest, that you wouldn't put your hand up unless you knew what your answer was going to be. So you wanted to be pretty sure that you had a good answer before you put your hand up and risked being shamed in front of the whole class because you got it wrong. So I think we learned to wait for the confidence and then to jump. But he makes this beautiful point that it first starts with courage. It's the courage to try something, similar to the Richard Branson quote, that you say yes. Okay, you have no idea, but you make a courageous step. And then I I'm not sure if this is the second C, but I think it goes with what he's saying. The next one is commitment. So you jump 2 feet in, and then in doing the thing, develop the competence to you see yourself, and because you're now in this situation, you're now developing the competence, and that's when you feel confident. Is when you look back and you see that you did that thing, and you did it because firstly it started with courage, and then you were committed to it. Then you developed the confidence as you went into it. So that in my business life has inspired me to do things that don't feel completely tied up in a bow and packaged perfectly. And so appearing online is exactly the same. And then I think there's another really relevant stream to us now, stream of consciousness, stream of thinking now, especially around the evolution of AI and how we're seeing, automatically generated content in our feeds so much more. And I think that that's where people have a trust question. And my question often when I see something that's been generated by AI is how much of the person themselves is actually in this content? And was this just a couple of prompts, spit it out, it took them 10 seconds, they did a quick review and they posted it up online? It's like what is the authenticity here? What is genuinely them and what is just, a machine telling me some thoughts that may or may not be relevant to me. Because I'm wanting to be connecting with the person themselves, understanding them. You know, the same thing that our audiences are wanting from us, knowing them. And I'm building a mental picture in my mind of how they operate and what they think, what their personality might be, and what's important to them, what do they value. All of these things come through in someone's content. And I'm wanting to understand that. And if I see something that looks perfect and that seems like it's artificially generated, then it kind of is a turn off for me, to be honest. And and I think that people are now looking, like, if you look at something online at the moment, the way AI is, you can tell that it's not real because it looks kind of perfect. They haven't built in the human aspects to it. And we know we're not perfect. We love to aspire to be perfect, but we know we're not. So I think people do business with people, and uh, you know who I buy from, I want to be buying from a human. I don't want to be buying a from an automated machine. And I genuinely think that turning up as we are in our life without our hair perfect and kind of like blowing in the wind and my curls not sitting just right as I would like them to be today, it's kind of it's the real life, isn't it? It's
Nina, yeah, I love it. Thank you for sharing this. Nina, do you remember the very first post or video that you posted and you felt very uncomfortable for whatever reason? Either when I ask you this question, where did that bring you back?
I'm trying to think of one. I think that almost every time there's a little bit of discomfort, actually, where it's a little, it's probably, it's not the same. It's probably a little bit like asking someone um, whether they would like to buy from you, or whether asking someone whether they would like to join you at an event, or there's always um, there's always a slight level of discomfort because you just don't know how it's going to land. And then I watch it for like the hour after that. Like, did it resonate with anyone? Was this what they wanted to hear? Is there something in the post that they might not have understood very well? So it's the lack of certainty, I guess, which is conversation, isn't it? You don't. The difference is that you put something out there first, and then you're waiting for the response, and you have to sometimes wait an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, half a day before, excuse me, before, excuse me, whether anyone's responded. So,
Yeah, or
and how
maybe
it's
there
helped
is,
them.
yeah, and I love that you bring that up because that's something, I support my clients with, like we have a tendency to make attach meaning to a post
Mm,
based on their performance,
mm,
nobody's watching or nobody's commenting, and we make it mean something about ourselves,
mm.
about our business, and then we're going down the rabbit hole. So I love that what you say, that every day I feel uncomfortable, but I still do it, and I
Yeah.
love this because this is the only way we're gonna get to know you, and
Mm.
and you're showing up, and that's kind of how once I knew who you were, like I kept looking at your stuff, and that's the only way you're gonna get people to know your values, what you like, why should I trust you, and
Yes. Yes.
so I commend you for this, your courage, your C's, all your C's.
Thank you. I know, isn't it such a cool book? And I can find the link to it and yeah, see if I can share that. It's such a cool concept, and that whole confidence comes after courage.
Yes,
Has been, really
yes.
inspiring.
My one of my coaches says money follows courage in business.
Ah, I like that.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
there it is. Exactly.
Um, what would you say to your younger self, now that you know all those things and you continue to grow through this? And what advice would you give your past self at the beginning of her visibility journey?
For me, yeah, it's interesting. I think I was always quite experimental right at the beginning of my business journey. I was experimental then and willing to take significant risks and trying to do my due diligence and understand whether the risk was too great or whether that was a risk that I could tolerate. Um, and that's really stood me in good stead. That's been something I continue to rely on in my business work, in who I am and in what I'm bringing. Is I'm always looking for ways to experiment and to add value through trying different things. And I this time around, like this next year. Sorry, someone's just arrived.
It's
Uh,
okay.
I've just got to say goodbye as they're leaving. Um, yeah, like, and I think of an experiment I'm doing next year with launching a community, and I would say to myself that who I am as an experimenting person who's willing to take risks is awesome. And even though I hadn't seen that around me and I don't have any other entrepreneurs in my family, it's only recently that I found out that my grandfather started a business and started a couple of businesses. Um, it's it's my path and my journey, and I guess I would just affirm myself in being who I am and in wanting to walk that journey, that it's the best it could be. It's the best it could be to be who you are and to step into that. And for me, that meant, taking some big risks and trying some big things and learning as I went. And that's the way it's been for me, and it's worth it.
I love it. So, what would be your, if you want to share, what is your biggest dream with your business? Like, let's dream. Like, how
Yeah.
visible do you want to be? Come.
Oh, I want to be so. Watch this space, because um, whether Style Gorgeous stays the name, I'm not sure. But in 10 years' time, I am seeing a business that is giving transformational experiences to women. Definitely women. People keep saying you should work with men as well. Like, well, vision is women. That's probably what it'll be, and enabling them to show up in more powerfully in their lives, to step into that incredible transformation of, this is who I am, these are my strengths, and there's only one of me in the whole world. And if I am empowered to bring my calling and my mission to life, then that's a unique and incredible gift that the world needs. And that's bigger than me. It's bigger than my fears. It's bigger than what holds me back. Is actually other people can benefit, and I can benefit from being the best version of myself. So that's what I think we'll be doing, is that style is this beautiful tool that we use to embody our best selves, as well as all the incredible other things it gives us, like fantastic first impressions and that sense of alignment and all that gorgeous, the joy and the creativity, being surrounded by beauty. There's so much that style brings, and it's part of this bigger story about really transforming into being the fullest, best expression of yourself that the world wants. So I think we'll be doing that in many more countries, and with other offerings as well as individual styling. There will be more coaching programs and services under that umbrella that will enable people to do more of that.
Thank you for sharing. I love your vision.
Thank you.
Global.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally. Yeah, wanted to really, make an impact, serve thousands of women. Making an impact in their arenas.
So, Nina, how can we reach you? Like, if someone wants to talk to you about their style, what's
Yeah,
the best way
they
to reach you?
through two main ways through the Style Gorgeous website, so that's stylegorgeous.com,
I'll
and
put the
then
link.
amazing, and then through my LinkedIn profile, which is Nina Dash Fountain. And if there's a confusion there are two LinkedIn profiles for me because I'm also in another business management consulting, and the two are so separate. I've had to have two LinkedIn profiles. So find the one that's me as a stylist and reach out to me there.
Okay, I'm putting this one here in the comment right there. The one that I follow. The one, the Executive Stylist. Yes,
Exactly.
and then from there they can find you on your website, I believe, right? Yes.
Yeah, for
They can. Yeah, I
sure.
see everything right there. Okay, awesome. Anything else you want to add before we go?
Look out for the Presence community that is launching next year. That's going to be a 12-month experience where people can establish the foundations of their style and elevate their executive presence with coaching, gorgeous community culture where women lift each other up and celebrate their successes and their style and the things that we have thought we have to, hide and be humble about, um, and not talk about too much. This is going to be a place where we celebrate and be and really be supportive of each other to step into beauty, to love it, to be lifted up by each other and be loved in that way. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, getting really positive responses from people about that experience because a year gives you time to work through your wardrobe and to purchase some new pieces and then to get feedback from me and from the group about um, looks, etc. So it's going to
When
be a
do you
great way.
start this program, you said? In January?
January, yeah,
Okay.
launching in
Well,
January.
okay. All the
Yeah,
best.
thank
And,
you.
and the name again, say the name again of the program?
Presence. It's going to be the
Presence.
Presence community. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I like the name.
Thank
Presence.
you.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm excited
Okay. Well,
for it.
thank you so much, Nina. Stay with me for a second backstage. And if you have
Okay,
any
I will.
question when you watch the replay, you can tag Nina or
Please
reach out to
do.
me and I'll put you in touch with Nina. Okay.
Beautiful.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much for your
Angelique.
time.
So lovely to chat. What a beautiful topic. And I love what you're doing to empower women to dance with their fears and to step into their incredible potential. I just think you're amazing at what you do. I'm so excited for what you're doing and what you're bringing.
Thank you. You're so sweet. Thank
It's
you.
true. It's true. It's all so true.
Okay, well, we're gonna continue that conversation, I'm sure, next year. But for
Yeah.
2024, that was a beautiful two conversation that you and I had. I'm so happy
Yes.
we made it happen. Thank you.
Totally. Yeah.